If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lassick and my partner is Travis Plum. Let's get started.
All right, welcome. This is Passive Prospecting, YouTube for Real Estate. And today we are discussing how to attract sellers with your YouTube channel. I'm just curious, first of all, let me know in the chat. If you're live with us right now, let me know in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Everything coming through loud and clear. And also let me know if this is a subject we should really dig into and talk about. I know we get that question come up quite a bit. Yep. All right. Dawn says, yep, she can hear. As far as attracting sellers, I know it's interesting that anytime I'm on calls or introducing this opportunity, usually to people for the first time, one of the main questions that always comes up is, well, is this buyers or sellers? And then I always ask, does it matter? I mean, if you were able to generate 3, 4, 5 inbound leads per day, would you care if they were buyers and sellers? And most people usually respond at that point and say, well, I want to work with sellers. I don't want to spend my time with buyers. And I say, okay, well, do you have a team or a referral agent or somebody you can give that business to? And so sometimes the mind, because it's not exactly what they're looking for, will just kind of shut off instead of looking for the solution. So that's something first and foremost that I always encourage everybody to consider is solutions before just completely turning off an idea. And the thing is that, yeah, you can refer out that business. I mean, I haven't opened a door this year or last year or the year before. And so even if it's all buyers, you have to ask yourself, would you like to get paid off of every one of those transactions as, a referral or a portion of that transaction? Or would you just not rather attract that at all or have nothing or only be tied to the transactions you can do? So again, this is a major leverage point that you can do through YouTube. And just because if you're creating the content and you're attracting the clients doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out there and open doors. But you can attract listings. Yes, you can. But it's one of those, I wonder if it's the chicken and egg type of scenario. Which came first? Do you attract sellers through the content, or do you have sellers and then create content around that and that attracts more sellers? So I think really what you want to do is you want to have content that is attractive to sellers. And the thing is that I'm not really sure if the local residents are on YouTube researching their local market. It's a little bit of a difference there because, and at least not in the beginning, but when you start a new channel, again, we always want to put ourselves in the shoes of the person consuming the content. And if you're local, I mean, you probably don't have a lot of questions about one suburb to the next that you're researching online. You probably already have a good sense of your area, your market, the neighborhood you want to move to, the suburb you want to move to. If you want to get out of the city, move into the city, go to the suburb next to you, go to a community. Those types of things, they typically have an idea because they're involved in the community. Plus, they can go drive around on the weekend or on evenings or maybe even during the day and just go drive over to that neighborhood and check it out themselves. They're not really constrained by geographic location when they're local. So yes, a YouTube channel likely going to attract a lot more buyers in the beginning than it is sellers, but you're going to have to create content that will attract sellers down the road. So this type of content that we do typically attracts a lot of relocation out of state, and which is fine because to me, I think they're some of the absolute best clients to work with. Very intentional, very decisive. Usually only spend one weekend with them. I mean, they come into town, they make decisions, put deals under contract, leave. Half of our closings, actually, I think last year, I'd have to look at the exact stat, but it was almost like 60 to 70% of our closings were remote. So we didn't even have the obligation to attend a closing. We couldn't attend a closing because they were closing back in their home state, which that can free up a lot of time, especially last year when we did We did 154 transactions just from YouTube alone in 2022. So that's a convenience factor right there. If you don't have to go to 60% of them because they're happening in another state. So there's a lot of advantages to a relocation buyer, an out-of-state buyer, or even out-of-country buyer. I think we helped between 6 to 10 people from out of the country move from Japan and from South Africa, a couple from Australia, and a couple, I mean like 2 people from Australia. It's soldiers from around the world, and it's just amazing. We got calls from Belgium and Philippines and helped those people. So we helped several international clients as well, and that's the opportunity that you can attract that business through the channel. So if you don't want to work with buyers, great. Neither do I. Not that I don't want to work with them. I just don't want to open doors. I don't want to run around town. And again, nothing wrong with that at all either. I'd rather use my time in other areas. Never had a problem with it. People are more than happy to just be working with our team. So, we do a couple of client appreciation events each year, and that's a great opportunity to meet and greet. So for those people that I don't have a chance to meet in person, then we give them that opportunity at the client appreciation events. But when it comes to sellers, I don't know if you're going to attract them just by making hey, here's the top 10 reasons to sell your house or how you should sell your house. I mean, it may be that content could work. I think a piece of content maybe that could attract them as well is giving them information on how to sell it themselves. And that could be a video content idea, but I think the main thing that's really going to attract sellers is going to be listing videos. Some may argue that they're not evergreen, and there is a component to that, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out on that opportunity. I mean, we love creating evergreen content, and evergreen content is very important for the life of the channel. And for those that don't know, evergreen just refers to evergreen trees. They have their leaves all year long. So it doesn't matter the time of the year, the season, or anything like that. It's an evergreen tree, right? Always has beautiful leaves. And so, that's something that if you create video content that is relevant, pretty much any time of day, night, weekend, or year, then it just gives the opportunity for more people to find it to be recommended in search, in browse, in suggested, those areas to where, it's not just seasonal. So if you make a Christmas video about your town, then you have to realize that that's probably going to be what we would call semi-seasonal or semi-evergreen. I mean, it could pop up in search every year during Christmas, but that's probably where you're going to find the biggest spike is during that holiday time. So we do want to create content that is pretty much relevant anytime somebody finds that video. Now, that's why we don't typically mention dates or seasons, even though you can tell the season likely. I mean, we're doing a lot of outdoor content right now just because everything's nice and green and the leaves are back. Also like to do that in spring and fall whenever leaves are changing or, the flowers are blooming. So all of those type of opportunities just allow for creating evergreen content. Now, a listing video will not necessarily be relevant, but you can still turn it into evergreen content. And that's something that we've worked on doing, and we're going to feature our listings regardless. I think right now that that's okay. Some may argue that that's not relevant, or you don't want to ever put a video on your channel that doesn't, is not evergreen, but or even say that maybe market reports are not relevant. And, that was a belief I used to hold. I don't think that's really the case anymore. And I'm always changing and evolving and learning new things and seeing what works and what doesn't work, especially looking at other channels or creators. And, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of agents. They typically have more of a national audience that will do practically a market report every week, and they have a lot of views. Now, what they generate in business from that, I have no idea. So, that is something I think in this day and age, with the way things are changing so quickly, and rates seem to fluctuate quite a bit, and there's new news every single day with the Fed and housing and all this kind of stuff that's going on. I don't see anything wrong with doing a weekly market report on your area. We typically do that on a live, and we've been, I would say, inconsistent on that, to where that's usually once every other week or once a month that we were doing that. But I would bring up articles, recent articles, just to really talk about the strength of the economy, at least in Dallas, and how that works. But then also try to, give some information in there that would be relevant, so that if people find it afterwards, it's still being suggested. Now we have some. If I look at some of the lives that we've done, I'll look at this last one and just check the analytics of it real quick. And it's still out there. It's still it's still getting put into browse, because we made a unique thumbnail with it. The thumbnail says housing prices, and then it has a rocket ship blasting off from it. So we're kind of painting that picture of, hey, housing prices are still going up in this market, even though we're seeing interest rates and sales are kind of flat or maybe down year over year. But when you look at prices, they're still heading upwards, at least in the Dallas area. Allow me to take a quick break to remind you that we have very important links in the description below. If you want the full story of how we closed over $1 million in commissions our first year and over $2.3 million in commissions our second year, check out the first link. Also, you have the link to our #1 Amazon best-selling book, Passive Prospecting. Last, if you enjoy this podcast and you're a giving person, leave a 5-star review, please. Now back to the episode. So, that was something that we made that content as relevant as possible, and it's still getting some browse. It's still getting 25 views a day. Not a lot, but, hey, I'll take 25 views on one video every single day. That's like prospecting to 25 people every single day. But when you go back and you look at our listings, what we're doing to really make them relevant, to stay evergreen, is we're really kind of focusing on the neighborhood. What area are they in? What's happening around town? So it doesn't mean we'll always just start out showing the property and then that's it. Sometimes we start down the street or at a section of town or something that's close by, or walking down through the community. It's a great way to kind of highlight the area, talk about what's around there, throw in some drone shots of nearby shopping or restaurants, bars. So just even adding that 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 minutes on the beginning of that listing video is what's going to help it stay evergreen and relevant on YouTube. So that way it gives people a good sense of that neighborhood, but then you're going to take them in and actually show them around and tour that property with them. So the last one we did, Providence Village, and plus, here's the other thing: is this is going to help you secure more listings as well. So another major reason why you would want to do this, because we're not only are we gaining the views to go along with it and the traction, it's just it really paints the picture for the next selling opportunity, the next listing. When we're able to walk in there, and not only do we have a pretty good listing presentation that's going to win the listing regardless, we get to back it up with the YouTube channel and say, look, we're the #1 channel in Dallas, Texas. 24,000 subscribers. We're getting 5,000 views every 48 hours. Look at our last listing video. It has ooh, excuse me. All right. Excuse me. So it got one of the second to last listing video, 19,000, or I mean 1,900, not 19,000, 1,900 views so far. And it sold. We sold that property in 2 days, got it under contract. Providence Village. This home was a little bit different. It's about to hit 1,000 views in its first couple of days, but we got that under contract within 2 days. Our listings before that we got under contract within 2 to 3 days. So because of we're doing the additional steps of what we talk about in the listing presentation, but on top of that, putting this on YouTube, and we usually do our best to release that video the day before, at least by the day before it goes live. It's almost like giving our community exclusive look as well ahead of time. And so, it's able to attract the business, but now we're able to also show sellers, look at the last video. It got 2,000 views within a week or two, and it sold within 2 days. And this is visual proof, visual credibility, social credibility, whatever it is you want to call it, there for these sellers to really give them the confidence, because they're thinking, okay, do I go with you or that has all of this, this really cool listing presentation? We're involving AI and other things like that in with our listings. Then on top of that, the social presence, the access to the views, the volume that the channel can bring to it. Now, if you have a newer channel, then it's a little bit more of a challenge to paint that picture, but still, this is why you want to do that. And so that last one too, Forney, we title and use the keywords around the neighborhood that it's in. I think where most would go wrong is you see listing videos, the thumbnail says 123 Main Street, the title probably says 123 Main Street, and again, that's just not something anybody's ever searching. Nobody really goes to YouTube to specifically search addresses. And so they're searching areas and neighborhoods and suburbs. So whatever area or neighborhood or suburb that home is in, that is what you want to focus your video around, and let the listing be a byproduct of that, a secondary focus of that, because now you're showcasing the neighborhood and the area, but now you're going to take them inside one of the homes in that community to really give them a good idea of what something for sale around there looks like. Take them down there to the community center, the community pool, the amenity center, the gym, or all these different types of things that you can showcase at the beginning of that video, but then walk them through and tour that property. And this is just where we're seeing a tremendous success here. And then we're, thumbnails that are working really well for us right now is under, we just put under and the price, the price range. So under 500K, that is eye-catching. You're capturing all those people that are interested in under 500K homes, really. And the thing is that somebody brought this up to me the other day. Initially, we had talked about, maybe not putting listing videos on your channel unless it was over $1 million, because if it's $1 million plus property, that is also a form of an evergreen content, because most people are just interested in looking at $1 million properties. But here's the deal with that, and this is just as my views and opinions and ideas evolve over time, I'm always going to let everyone know that. So whatever I say 6 months or 12 months ago is always subject to change. It's always subject for updates and new learnings and adaptation. And that's what this is all about, is constantly growing and being a student of the game. So that's what I thought, last year. Now's not the case, especially as we get more and more listings. I want that content. I want it on there, and it's working extremely well for us. And the thing is that if I post $1 million plus property, I could be targeting a lot of people outside my target audience, because our average price point within our team is around $560,000. Well, we put a $2-3 million property on there. Great. Maybe it gains a national audience. People are looking at that just because they're curious about a $3 million property. They may not be intentional. They may not have any desire to move to Dallas. Now, could we capture somebody in a $3 million buying range? Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. We have before. So we want that out there. But the views and the everything that comes with that may be a little bit skewed. But I know if we post now a $499,000 listing, the people watching that are probably pretty intentional. I mean, I don't think people are perusing on YouTube, especially this day and age when everything is on luxury and high end and the best supercars and the $50 million mansions. I mean, that's attracting the eyeballs. I just saw, Mr. Beast, his last video was like a $1 billion yacht or something like that, or $1 billion boat, and it's made out of gold. And it's like, okay, that's what's attracting all the eyeballs. But my listing for $500,000 that looks really good on the thumbnail and it's geared around an area that somebody's researching. Well, somebody watching that video, I know, is probably very dialed in, very intentional, because otherwise I don't think a lot of people I know just watch $500,000 listing videos for fun. But if we can get 2,000 views off of that, and let me look at the analytics of that as well and see what the impressions were. Yeah, 25,700 impressions. So regardless, it was placed in front of 25,700 people, but 2,000 people watched it. All right, so that is very specific audience, I would say. So even YouTube is like, hey, we're going to throw this out to 25,000 people that we think are even interested in this area or this price range, but 2,000 chose to watch that. So then we know we've got an ideal audience there. And I think not a lot of people are going to waste their time just watching a $500,000 video, on a listing just for fun. They're going to watch it because they're intentional, because they're interested in that area. They want to see what homes are priced at in that area. And I think that just adds a lot of value and a lot of opportunity to increase content on your channel. And that's something else. If you're struggling with content, or you're, it's like, okay, I can make a video or two per week, but you're getting a listing a week. Well, there you go. Now you've got 2 to 3 videos you can publish every single week. If you're doing one video and you're getting a listing every week, now you got 2 videos a week that could be going out. If you throw in a market report, now you got 3 videos. So I think it's very easy to scale your content as well and focus on what is going to bring you the most business. And all of our listings so far that we've posted, we're selling within a 2 to 3 day time period, which is amazing. So I know we're bringing on another listing. I think Travis is filming a listing today right now, heading out to go do that. So all of those opportunities, and we want to keep pushing it out there because we want to attract sellers. And now if somebody's thinking about selling their home and they're perusing around on YouTube and they find one of our videos, that's another way to attract them, because if you can make a $500,000 home look good and they're in the 6 or 7s or 8s or 9s or even $1 million plus, then that's going to lead them down a path and they're going to say, wait a second, they just made this, we just did, what was this, a $299,000 condo. We sold that in 2 days. But it, made it look good. And if we can make a $299,000 condo look good, then that will give sellers a lot of confidence. And then you've got the portfolio to prove it. You've got the video content to show them, to say, look at these other videos we've done, or even show them videos we've done of homes in their price range. So those are the opportunities that you have. And can you attract sellers from YouTube? Absolutely. But you got to have the listings, you got to have the inventory. Well, you don't have to, really. You could use somebody else's. You could shoot somebody else's or film somebody else's content. We did one in Frisco for a $2.5 million property, and that agent asked us to come and film that property. So, and we did, because they wanted to move it quickly as possible. We didn't get a call for a buyer on that property just yet, so I'm not sure what the situation is on that deal. But again, $2.5 million buyers right now in Frisco. A little limited right now, but they're still out there. And if we find one search around, then we've got a really good opportunity. I mean, that video's got over 2,500 views. So we're able to attract some attention to it, but also it helps us create content for our channel. So, that's a good opportunity right there. We just filmed a $3.5 million property, 2 of them, on Friday with an agent that knows us and was like, I want to do everything I can to market this property, and you guys got the best channel, so do you mind filming these properties? And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. I would love to put 2 different $3.5 million properties on the channel, of course. Why not? That's content for us. And so we're doing a combination of other people's listings, property tours, but then also our own, and it's just working really well. And now we have a significant library of listing videos that we can easily present to sellers whenever we go to meet with them. And so it makes everything a lot easier, to get that listing. So let me see. I'm going to check over. Chrissy, anything I missed there? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's just important too to recognize that still with the buying principles that we talk about and kind of the overall formula that we use on the YouTube channel is still really important. You need to have that foundation in place in order to even attract the sellers. That's ultimately what helped us get the sellers in the first place, was because we did have a foundation. And that's what's going to initially get you views, is the buyer material. And so don't think that you have... you need to go out and do all seller content or all buyer content. It's really doing a combination of both, just recognizing that they're 2 different audiences and they're going to be positioned a little bit differently. But overall, you can attract buyers and sellers to your YouTube channel depending on how you structure it.
Yeah, and that's another good point, is we also show them our buyer pool. We're working with actively like 50 buyers right now. On average, that's where we range, as far as, and we've got a lot of people on the fence. There are those people right now that are hanging on just a little bit, just to see what interest rates do. And then we've got others that are pulling the trigger. But whenever we say, look, you work with us, we've got 50 buyers on deck right now. We may be able to bring the buyer very quickly. And so depending on the right situation, the right house, and what's going on there. And that's the other, great thing that you can use, because if you build up that base, that's what every seller wants, is they want a buyer for their property. So when you have a big pool of that, then it's nice to show them that as well. So not only do we get the audience, the views, the content, the presentation, everything, but we have actual buyers, people that are making decisions every single day. And we know we have the ones that are intentional, the ones that are out looking, regardless of interest rates or market conditions or anything like that. Then we have them on deck. So that's a big selling point for them as well. Let's see here. I'm going to check in the chat real quick, see if we got a couple of questions. Lori says, I'm hearing a workout routine that you were talking about in the background. Oh, really? Not sure what that was about. If you can clarify in the chat, that would help me out. What's up, Mary? Mary says, I'm very interested in this topic. Okay. Thank you, Mary. Let's see. Armando, what's up, Armando? Says, what about client testimony videos at the closing table for attracting sellers? Yeah, I think that helps too. I think sometimes it's a little awkward. It's a little awkward for your people at the closing table to say, hey, you want to make a video? And don't worry, I'm right here. So that's something that we have struggled with a little bit, and working on how we can maximize that. We're pretty good at getting reviews on our Google business profile. But the video testimonials, I've done some, and I can people just get nervous. They get a little awkward, so I'm not really sure I know what the answer is to that, actually. And I have some meetings coming up. Actually, tomorrow, I think, yeah, I'm meeting with some people that can solve this problem. I think it's what I've seen. It's the first time I've seen a really good solution for getting client testimonials on video. So I'm going to hold that to my chest for this time being, though. But I always like to dig into things and figure out if they're going to work first before I implement them with the team and with our community.
Hey, Levi, can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
It's Armando.
What's up, man? How are you?
Howdy, yeah, it's Armando Realtor in Houston. Yeah, so I have like 6 or 7, real short, I the way I do it, and I kind of coach them. I just ask them like 3 or 4 main questions, and mainly it's just the experience. Well, first I ask them how they, got to know me in the beginning, either the phone call from Google or a referral, and then what the experience was like, what to expect, kind of like people on the fence about selling, and then how I helped him get into another property, whether it was a rental or a buy or just it was an investment property. And so I just kind of coached them along. And I've had a podcast channel, so I'm decent at helping people speak, I guess, if they don't know what to say, and kind of give them leading questions. I don't try to make them say things that they don't mean to say, but just kind of like coach them along to it. And that's helped. And I've had like one person decline, and I was like, okay, I just back off. It's not a big deal. But most of them are really cool about it, and just, and make it fun. Like, I'm always smiling while I'm holding my camera, so they're not like, it feels like an interrogation type thing. And then, I'll use that. I have them in a folder of client testimonials, and it has a link, because I call expireds, and most of the complaints are, I never hear from my realtor, this and that. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, here's some testimonials from past clients, that tag along on my Google reviews, which I almost have over 100 now. So, but it's like real life, talking, things that, how they felt about the transaction. I've been able to get a couple listings like that, and then so that's what I was saying with your experience and doing that. But I'm pretty excited to, I guess, find out what you find out from those other folks that you would, I guess, speak to later.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely one way to do that, and and I think the other challenge we face, as I mentioned, is that a lot of our closings are remote, so we're not right there when the closing happens. So I think that's a way to do it, and you can do that. You set that up, and if you have a couple of quick questions, and it's really how you make people feel, how comfortable you make them in the process as well. So yeah, I mean, we've gotten some as well. I'm just trying to think of what's the most seamless process we can do, especially with the amount of remote closings we have. So I think we've got a couple of ways that we can work on that here. I'm going to test out this new thing that we're going to be meeting about tomorrow, but that still could take a couple of weeks to implement, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, I appreciate the feedback, Armando. I think that's really good, and that should help out people as well. Let's see, Carlos. Carlos says, what's your suggested day-to-day schedule to shoot all of these videos? So, Carlos. I mean, I don't know. I shot 5 videos Sunday morning, 5 videos in less than 2 hours. And that's going to fuel me for, maybe 2 weeks. And then also, we have content on and that was actually for our passive prospecting channel. We have content for the real estate channel that we have about 2 weeks worth of content there because I filmed the 2 listings on Friday. And so that took maybe 3 hours or so to, at least my portion. Alex, our videographer, will stay a little ahead of time, so I can knock out a couple of listings, and those were 5,000 square foot homes as well, so pretty good size. But we've got a really good flow down, and just kind of can navigate that really well. And so I was able to knock out those 2 listing videos within 3 hours. But the thing is I don't really do a lot every day. It's usually just in batches. Right now, what I've been doing is blocking Fridays, just Fridays. No meetings on Fridays. That's a film day. Last couple of Fridays, we were able to get out. We did some vlog tours. And that took 3 to 4 hours because I'm using a videographer, but we're also making them a lot more in depth, a lot more video content, a lot more angles, droning. And so we're getting out in the morning, trying to start by 8 a.m. and being done by 11:30, 12 before it gets too hot here in Dallas. And we're just really starting to showcase a lot more. So those, before I could do a neighborhood tour in an hour, maybe hour and a half, and I could do 4 on a Saturday, within a 4 to 6 hour window. And that would give me 2 videos a week for the next 2 weeks. So if you broke that down, it was really like 2 hours a week worth of filming. And I always say that video is really the true 4-hour work week, because if you kind of batch it up together, you shouldn't be spending more than 2 to 4 hours a week in totality. Now, whether you want to do that on one day or you want to try to film a video every day, it really just depends on your schedule. Right now, I want to move more into intentional short form content. I've never really focused on intentional short form content. All my short form content has been repurposed, or the documentation of me, what I'm doing at all these speaking events and meeting with people and coaching and things like that. It's just, we have so much content. I mean, we're like months behind, and I still see stuff getting published that I filmed, 6 or 8 months ago, because, I go to one conference and we could have 100 reels out of that conference. And then I'm going to 2 or 3 sometimes within the same month. So, that content is there. I haven't really sat down to do intentional content. We've been blocking Tuesday afternoons, but I've got to talk to my ops manager because I keep getting booked things on Tuesday afternoons. And I'm like, look, if I blocked that out for short form content, it needs to stay open. We can't just be adding stuff in there for me to do, because I need to film that short form. So right now I'm trying to do Tuesday afternoons for short form and Fridays during the day for, vlog tours and things like that. We want to get out as much as possible. And then, if I do something in the office, that's super easy. Actually, I did a veterans. That was one of the videos I did Sunday morning, and I just knocked that out. And I did veterans benefits for that. So now we're doing vlog tours, listings, veterans benefits. I mean, an office video for me is very easy. As long as you have the structure and the outline, it doesn't, if it's going to be a 20-minute video, it maybe takes me 25 minutes with a couple of mess ups here and there to do that. So, that's, I would just find out what works in your schedule. If Tuesday afternoons are a slow time for you, then that's the time I would be blocking out and try to knock out 2 or 3 videos or 4 videos, in that time frame. And your efficiency will improve over time as well. So if one video takes you an hour, that should be getting down to 30 minutes or 20 minutes down the road. Just remember and keep in mind that it's not going to be like this forever. You will get better, you will get more efficient, and you will be able to create more content in less time going forward. Ann asked the question, what about gearing your channel to a specific selling niche like seniors or probate? Yeah, I mean, I think you can. I don't know if I want to rule out everything else. I might focus video content on that and have it as a playlist. But if that is your niche and you want to focus completely on seniors or probate, then you could just hammer that stuff home. Now, I think your buyer pool could be a little bit smaller, but I don't know. Once you niche down that specific, it could open things up, because I don't know of a lot of people that are focused on senior living, on a YouTube channel. I'm sure there's someone out there. I haven't really come across it. If you're only focused on probate, then just realize that could cut down the phone calls. But I don't know. Maybe you get 3 transactions out of every deal, right? Because you have to sell a house and then you have to help 2 people, or I guess probate would be more like maybe I'm thinking of divorce. Well, I mean, probate could also be inheritance or things like that. But so, just if you want to go double down on that, I would probably recommend just creating a playlist on that and making videos as they come and still focus on the other areas as well. Let me see. Oh, sorry about that. She said, okay, I was listening to your podcast at the same time. I guess I was talking about that in the podcast. Okay, hello from Maryland. Hello, Laura. And Lakeisha says, are these your listings or new construction sites that you're filming? They're both. Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of listings of our own that we feature on the channel. And that's another thing you can do. You can do some new construction model home tours as well. That's another thing you can feature. I don't think I've cracked the code on that just yet. I've seen a couple of other channels that's all they do, and I would say it's nothing groundbreaking. I haven't seen any amazing content come from that, but just focusing on new construction walkthroughs, and I see some some solid views from what I understand. They're doing some good business. And, for us, I don't know, maybe because we're so much focused on other content, we add in a model home tour like maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. So it's not a primary focus. And I do believe what you primarily focus on, you are going to reap those rewards a lot more. So because we're not doing 2, 3, or 4 videos a week on new construction properties and model home walkthroughs, maybe that's why they're not blowing up. Although we do get calls. I mean, people do want the new construction properties. Those videos do get the views, but our listing videos we're finding, especially recently as we've been listing, a lot of videos around 500,000, those have been getting some good traction and getting quite a bit of views. So, that could be our sweet spot. I think our sweet spot is between 500 to 2 million is where we find most of our clients. So, I haven't featured any 10 or 15 or $20 million properties on the channel, but if we did, maybe we would attract those clients as well. At least in Dallas, those listing agents, I would say, they're a little bit more stingy. They're not necessarily wanting to share the wealth right now, at least what we found, but we can always work through that. So, all right, well, let me see. We're kind of coming up at the end. Carlos asked another question. What's your advice or feedback on shooting video stationary with a Zoom virtual background? I'm not really a big fan of Zoom virtual backgrounds just because it makes your head all weird. Half the time, if you don't sit completely still, you disappear. You can make a movement and disappear. So I would recommend a green screen before a Zoom virtual background. And if you set up a green screen, just remember to set it up at least 2 feet behind you, and that should cut out any distortion between your head and that picture. So I see a lot of creators that use green screens that look really good. And so if you want to do that because you don't have the greatest setup in your house or something like that, you have a blank wall or you're not a decorator, well, the easiest way to fix that is with a green screen. And you can get those extremely cheap these days. I think the best one we've ever had is really one that pulls up. It's got it has a handle and you just pull it up and then it automatically locks into place. So it makes it very easy to for storage to get out of the way, to just one pull and it comes up, has the built-in stand in the back of it, so you don't have to set things up or stretch it out or hang it up, and just set it at least 2 feet behind you. That reduces the distortion of your head, and you can pick some pretty cool pictures, especially of your city or neighborhoods or things like that you could put on that green screen. So I would just recommend using a green screen before a Zoom virtual background. So that would be my 2 cents on that.
Also, just a thought on that, just to add to that, I think it's really important to be very intentional with your videos, because if you're looking for a shortcut, it's likely going to look like a shortcut. Video is very transparent. And so I always tell people, if you feel uncomfortable on camera, people are going to know on the other side. Likewise, if you're taking shortcuts in the interest of time, trying to make it fast, efficiently, but you're sacrificing quality, that's going to show on the other side very, very prominently. So anytime that you're sacrificing your quality, you have to think about what's the user experience on the other side, because that's what YouTube really cares about, is the user experience. And if you're sacrificing user experience, I would stay away from it. That's my general rule.
Yep. Okay. All right. And let's see, one last question. Tanya said, should all our videos be labeled as education? I think that's what we label them as education.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't made a real estate category in there yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. That would be cool if they did.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I don't see any other questions in there. Oh, well, one last one. Tanya, how did you do the link in your banner that brings leads to a questionnaire where they choose if they want to buy or sell? Is that a landing page? Yep. Yeah, that is. That's in our that's in our CRM. So, if you check the link in the description of our passive prospecting YouTube channels, or if you go to our website, passiveprospecting.com, we have a link on there for the CRM that we use. We've built that out. We've copied over everything that we have, like our campaigns and triggers and that landing page as well. And so if you don't have a good CRM, or you've been thinking about switching or something like that, and you want to use the one we have, that's available. And we built that through High Level, but you can't just get a High Level account. You have to be an agency or a company like us that can distribute that to other people. So we cut that down to as minimal as possible, $97 a month, really just to try to help people out. But we built out everything in there. All you have to do is go in there and edit the email campaigns, the triggers, the text messages. Just edit to customize it towards you, and then we have the landing pages built out in there as well, and you would just switch out our pictures with your picture. So it's a really it's a copy and paste system that you have access to, that you could do. And there's no contracts on it or anything like that, but just $97 a month if you're looking for a new CRM, and you can tap into that. So yep, we want to, and that's actually our number one most clicked link throughout the whole channel, is on that banner to book a call. So very important that you send them where you want them to go. Don't distract them to short form platforms. Don't link all your socials up there. Give them, tell them exactly where you want them to go.
Hey Levi, it's Atif. Quick question. What's the name of that CRM?
So our version, we just call it Passive CRM, but it's built out through High Level.
Okay. And are you finding that that's the CRM that works the best with YouTube and really every other component, all the other arms, like it just kind of flows together well?
Well, I think it does for us. It's really a marketer's CRM. So, there's a couple of CRMs out there that are, really, really geared towards real estate. But, I don't know. I kind of messed around with KV Core a little bit. Some people love KV Core. Some people just absolutely hate it. Maybe the same thing with Follow Up Boss, these other ones. But High Level is pretty simple because it really incorporates all of those things. It has the campaigns, the emails, like Calendly's built into it, landing pages, which are based off of like the ClickFunnels business model. So everything is it's almost like a one-stop shop. So, and it's really geared for a marketer. And, the way I look at it is we're marketers, we're marketers. And so we want all of those things that are built into it. So we just found it the easiest to use and incorporate. And then, the reason we built that out for others is because the questions always came up. People are not a lot of people are happy with what they have, but any CRM you should be able to, link it up as long as you have the phone number associated with that CRM. Anything should be able to bring in the leads from YouTube. So it's not that it specifically works well with YouTube. I think just for us, for all the functions and the different things that we want to use in it, it works best.
Okay. And are you only using that one CRM, or are you guys integrating that with like Zapier or something like that with another CRM that's,
Yeah, if we have to use anything else, we just use Zapier or Zapier, whatever, I guess, Zapier, then because we're actually, because we just don't want to get involved in other CRMs. So if we, if somebody has a different CRM or, sends leads through something, like especially like on our website, we, our IDX, we just do a zap so that if anybody, fills out a form or something like that, it'll just zap them into the CRM for us.
Right. So it all funnels and flows through to one kind of master CRM, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right. And then that master for you guys is high level?
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. And then just general question. I couldn't, ask this in a way that I think would articulate what I'm trying to ask, but I'm hearing, I guess my question is the information that I'm hearing today, right? Not just specifically on this topic, but generally speaking, is it more geared towards a person that does not have the video editing services as part of working with passive prospecting, or is it for everybody?
I think everything we talk about is, geared for anybody. I mean, the video editing services that we have are just it's kind of like a done for you option, right? I mean, it's really there for, because we understand, I mean, some people have their own editors. Most people I know with their own editors, their editors have no clue about SEO or the optimization side of it. So, we just provide a one-stop shop on there, but, there's no obligation to use our team. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure if I answered that correctly.
So I am, So I am using the team, and I guess as I'm hearing things, I'm trying to figure out, well, is that something that I need to know, or is that something that is, already done for me? And I guess that's where my question is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're with our team, I mean, Chrissy runs that whole crew and company. So if there's any updates, they're implementing it. They're implementing AI and things like that. And so when you get back a done for you video, when you get back titles and tags and descriptions, that's been researched. That's been looked into. It should give you the best opportunities. So yeah, we're incorporating them with that. They stay up to date on everything.
Okay, so it's truly a done for you, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out here is like, in hiring the team is that, I'm, as hands off as possible when it comes to anything other than shooting the video and coming up with the content.
Yes, but at the same time, I always recommend, when you go through the program, then it's always good to know. I think it's important to check people's work. And the editing team is not perfect either. So if they miss something, or they give you a title and maybe you've got a different title in mind, A/B test it. If you say, well, you know what, I don't know, my gut kind of tells me this, or I did a little bit of my own research and maybe I want to try something else. I mean, there's a lot of times that even on my own videos, I'll change the title. I'll do an A/B test with my own, just because I'm going off my own intuition or feeling, or maybe something that I've read or heard. And so I think there's ownership in knowing what you're looking at, but at the same time, if you're trying to take a hands-off approach, it is designed to be done for you. I just do believe it's important to check work, but also, especially in the beginning, as you're learning and going through it, I think it's just really to be a little bit more involved. And then once you hit that flow and that everything starts moving and you're a lot more comfortable, I mean, yes, we want everybody to be, very hands-off so they can focus on their business and creating content,
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So it sounds to me, and I got this impression from day one, I'm still working through the modules, is that, it's very much a working relationship to execute, to be able to get the best results possible.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's why we do these, every single week, so, cause I mean, we're learning and we've gotten great ideas from our own community. They've brought some things, feedback, new things they've tried that have worked. So it's we try to just keep the conversation always open.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then I think Armando had a good point about the videos. I do that too. So a lot of video testimonies and stuff that are on my website. And just to contribute to anyone else that is having a hard time asking their clients for it, I actually ask for it. And then what I do is I kind of gauge based off the relationship whether or not they're like completely freaked out by video. And I kind of like laugh it off, right? Like, so I don't make it that serious. But I also ask for them to do it for me, so it's literally just a text or like a script, really, and it's really simple. Just ask them if they could share their experience with working with me as their agent and text me over a video, nothing fancy, 2 minutes or less, by tomorrow by 12 p.m. So I don't keep it open. It's very intentional, and like I'm kind of training them on exactly when I want it, but then I usually like to ask for it in a conversation, and then just like Armando was saying, I just highlight a few different points. That has gotten me more videos just by kind of coaching them, just like he was saying, but also making sure that they know that, hey, can you get it to me, tomorrow by 12 p.m., nothing fancy, you just text it over to me. And I emphasize the fact that we want it raw and authentic. You don't have to be dressed up, and, it's not a production. Just laugh it off and, share with them that, hey, look, this is going to benefit somebody else who had your same challenge too, and I know that you care for other people. So that usually gets me more videos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
So.
Yep. Great feedback. Appreciate that. All right. Well, good stuff. I think that kind of brings us to the close today. So I think that was a great conversation, and hopefully you found this helpful. And if you want to show some love in any way possible, the best way you could do that is leave a review, since we're talking about our views on the podcast. So, right now you're here live, but if you're listening to this on the podcast, that would be greatly appreciated if you can rate and review. 5 stars, of course, the appropriate rating, please. Or if you've purchased the book recently, the Passive Prospecting book off of Amazon, we're getting very close to breaking over 100 reviews on the book, which is amazing. But you can see how challenging it. I mean, we've sold over 2,000 copies so far, which is amazing, but only 100, about to break 100 reviews. So you can see how it's getting those reviews is always interesting to go for. And if you have purchased the book and haven't left a review on Amazon, that would be greatly appreciated, as long as it's 5 stars. If it's not, then you can just hold that to yourself. It's okay. We won't hold that against you. But if you didn't like it that much. But we would appreciate that. If you find value in everything that we try to help out with as best as we can. And until next time, we'll chat with you next week.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching at no cost, schedule a call at PassiveProspectingPartner.com.